Well, welcome, everybody to the So Free and Single with Z podcast. I am so excited again for another great episode that we're going to have today. We're going to be talking about some good stuff, y'all. It's going to get good. It's going to get juicy today. But before we start, I first want to introduce myself as Dr. Z. I am here, and everybody on our show, just be mindful that anyone and everyone on our show, hey, we're not love doctors. We're just some single folks talking about some single things. And so we're so glad that you're joining us here today and giving an opportunity just to see what we're about and talk with us, join in the conversation. We want to hear what you have to say. Push back on, challenge the narrative. We want to hear your thoughts, your comments, your yes, your amens, your nays, all of that. We want to hear it all here on the So Free and Single with Z podcast. But as we all know, every week I start with a little known dating facts. All right. And so this week I'm going to start with a little known dating fact. And this one says a man's top dating fears include that a woman will come between him and his friends, won't allow him free time, will turn out to be a stalker, won't respect him, or will be too high maintenance. For real? Like, is this what guys are really fearful of? But I don't know if I can blame them, honestly, in this day and time. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff going on. And a lot of that happens because some would say, well, this is why I have a woman move in with me. So I can see what that balance is or what that looks like, what that feels like before we really get into dating each other. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. I get it. Because, right, you got to see how is she acting when her friends are there, or when your friends are there. Is she giving you any space to do you? Is she looking through all your stuff? Is she one of those people? So I understand wanting when someone says to me, like, yeah, I got to see how it is to live with her first. Which brings us to our topic today. We are talking about the love shack. All right. We talking about shacking up, y'all. You know, if you in the church, that's what they said. You know, you live with somebody before you're married, you're shacking up. And the God is not in you. So we're going to talk about it today. What cohabitating before marriage, what are our thoughts about that as some singles out here? So I'm going to bring on my guest today and we're going to hear what they have to say. But again, I hope you join in the conversation. And if you haven't done so, go on to my YouTube page, is Education LLC, and subscribe, like and subscribe. We want to see you. So here we go. Let's bring my guest on. Hello. Hey, y'all.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right, let's tell the people who we have here today. Tell me who you are, where you're from.
I am Gregory Devon out of Durham, North Carolina. And as always happy to be here. And one fun fact about me is that I'm saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. But I cuss a little bit and I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yes. I love it. All right, Miss Lena, take it away.
I'm Lena D, as my screen name says. I live in the DFW Metroplex, and I'm just me.
You just me. I like that. All right. Well, y'all, we're going to jump in it today. Let's talk about our topic. Today, we're talking about Love Shack. All right. All right. We're going to talk about what is it meaning and what does it mean to us as singles when we talk about cohabitating before marriage. So let's start this. First of all, are we even doing this? What we doing? Are we cohabitating before marriage? What are y'all thoughts? Where are y'all at on this?
Ladies first.
I knew you was gonna say that. Are we cohabitating before marriage? Well, there are individuals that do that. Um, have I been in that situation? Before I got married, we moved in together like maybe about 3 or 4 months before we got married. And that was because my lease was getting ready to be up and might as well moved in with him. So that was that. Have I been in a situation where there was someone trying to be a homosexual? Mm-hmm. You
Oh,
sure was.
so sexual. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay.
tried to tell me that their landlord was about to evict them and because they rented the house from up under them. And yeah, and I was like, oh well, I can help you find you another place.
Right.
You ain't coming over here, but yeah. And like I said, I've known for a lot of people to cohabitate.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. What you thinking, Mr. Gregory?
So, well, for me, it's definitely not for me. Um, only because studies show that um, couples that live together tend not to get married, and then of those that do get married, it's a higher divorce rate. So I think that there are a lot of,
Mm.
again, rational reasons to live together, but when we think about it, it gives you a false sense of reality because you are confusing convenience for covenant.
Mm.
And if you in your brain start to view this as, well, this is my person, and you start seeing it as covenant, but marriage or engagement doesn't happen, at any day now this person might flake on you and up and walk out of your life, right? So I think we fool ourselves into thinking that this will get me to the altar faster, when it
Mm.
really won't. It will sometimes deny you from getting there.
Okay. So let me throw out a couple because I think Lena, you brought up something really good. Like I've been in a couple different scenarios because I'm transparent on this show. I don't have a problem telling where I've been and what I've done. So first and foremost, like the situation Lena brought up, like when I got married, I was moving states. So it was like, okay, we're about to get married. And so it was a quick transition. I was only here about a month before we actually did get married. But that honestly wasn't the original plan. The original plan was months down the line. And I think our personal convictions made us go ahead and do it, like let's just do it now. We can talk about a wedding later, which never happened, but whatever. I'm glad I didn't waste that money. But I'm just playing. I'm just playing. If any of him or his friends are watching, I still love. But but I've also been in a situation where I have lived with someone for about 3.5, almost 4 years. And you're right, it didn't end in marriage.
Right.
And then now what? So do you think that there's a line there, like a gray space, or is there no gray space in there? What do y'all think?
I think that the scenario that Lana mentioned, I can understand that. Like, it's 4 months before our wedding. That's a different scenario, right? Because it's like, well, we're getting ready to live together in marriage, so lease is up. I can understand that. The reason that I'm so heavy on not in regard to just in general is just because, again, you find people being devastated after long-term relationships that go nowhere, and they had an idea in their head of what this was going to be, and then it never transitions over to that. And I've just seen where people in their brain, they will make something what it is not to be able to
Mhm.
justify means to an end. But
Yeah.
by the end of the day, sometimes the heartbreak is more over what didn't happen over what did
Yeah.
happen. And it's like we had in our brain all this future and all this wedding and this long-term happiness and oneness, right? And that oneness never happens because oneness does not come out of convenience. It comes out of covenant, because when somebody has made a commitment to you and they put a ring on your finger, I always tell a woman that the greatest thing a man can do for you is to give you his last name. Because it's an honor for this man that this woman now carries his last name. And that is what makes him want to be accountable for her and his children, because they have his last name. They are a part of him now. I just believe that if you truly want, again, that oneness, not just a feeling, but the security of it, then you will make the decision to make this thing official.
Lena, what you think? You think it's a gray area?
I think it can be a gray area. Although my situation was where we were getting ready to walk down the aisle in about 4 months before I moved in. But I have also known individuals where they did move in before their wedding day, but their wedding day never did happen. Paid the money and everything. So I was listening to you because I see both sides of the coin. So it can be a gray area in there. I mean, I know that I said that I've come across some homosexuals, and I do know some females that, be homosexuals as well, because they're looking for somebody to take care of them. And if they have children, take care of them and their children. So they trying to ease their way on over into the man's place or whatever. But I know some people who, they've lived together and they wind up getting married. They've been married for, a few decades. And that's a great thing. I can't say for myself that if I get into a relationship with someone and we rocking and we rolling, and we're talking about future things, and I'm either staying at his place a little bit more or he's staying at my place a little bit more. You get a drawer, you get a toothbrush, or whatever, because you stay over quite often. And then that stay over, I don't know if I'm in that situation where I look around, oh, you've been here a month. If I'm going to be like, no, you got to go and go back to the house, bruh. Where you paying no bills. I don't know. But I think you just have to, pray about it. So I don't know, constantly pray about your situation that you're in. And I know you said, Mr. Gregory, it's a no for you. I don't know if you make sure that you draw that line in your dating relationships or whatever, but I don't know.
That's big too. You said something big there, is making sure that you're clear about that line in the beginning, because that could be someone really if you're not on the same page with that, that's tough. That's real tough. But I'm gonna put a pin in that, because I definitely want to come back to that point there. So, but let me ask this. Well, I'll let you address the comment that I see here. It says things can be great in those 2 hours or overnight visits, but those 14-hour days subtracting the 8 hours for work and 2 hours commuting when you cohabitate with someone hits differently. I agree.
Yeah.
That does hit differently. It's one thing when they come spend the weekend where they spend a night bag, because they're going back home. But it does hit differently when you cohabitate with someone. And I can tell you, again, from experience, that, if I'm looking at it and I'm being realistic, I'm 0 for 2 with this situation. I'm 0 for 2. And I'm actually one of those who probably would say I don't have a problem with it, even though, yes, I have a moral compass. I love the Lord. He heard my cry. But like we talked about in the beginning, some things that I still think about in my mind. But I'm 0 for 2 with it. So it's not working in my favor. One ended in divorce, one ended up in not marrying.
Mhm.
So, maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be. But that leads me to my question of what do you think people's motivation? And we talked a little bit about, my lease is up and things like that. It just makes sense with that type of convenience. But what do you think are some reasons that people say, you know what, this is the move that I want to make? Why do you think they're saying this?
It's economical.
Yeah.
I think that is probably one of the major reasons is that we think that it's economical because, again, we are downsizing, so to speak, and going from two households to one. So in all honesty, if it was a matter of pros and cons, that would actually be on the pro side, right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's more so a question of, okay, is the short-term convenience worth the risk of losing the person that I love, right? Or is short-term convenience worth wasting my time? Because a lot of times we will decide that, well, yeah, I can decrease my bills, but do you know this person? Have you
Right.
known this person long enough to even make that decision? Because from my vantage point, if I don't even know right now that I would even consider marrying you, why do I
Mm.
want to live with you for? It makes no difference to me how you live if I don't even think about marrying you, right? And I
True.
get it. People want to see people's are you clean? Bathroom, how do you keep house? Can you cook? And I get it. And I'm not saying that those are not uh important things to know. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, is it worth me there 2 years, 3 years, four of my life waiting for you? We're waiting to see something when in all actuality, from a man's perspective, if I truly love you, it ain't a whole lot outside of poor character that you can show me that I'm gonna stop loving you, right? I can deal with your house being a little junky, right? I can deal with, okay, maybe you snore some, or these things that we create, and I can deal with that, right? If I really really love you. So the things that I say I'm waiting on to see, no, you're really not. You're wasting time with what you're doing, because you're trying to say, well, let me look for these things to justify even why I wanted to live with this person, or to justify, well, I saw that, so I'm not sure yet if we're ready for marriage. So you're putting the cart before the horse, and you're trying to justify the right and the wrong because you don't want to be accountable to making a decision and making a moral decision sometimes and standing on business.
So let me add to that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lena. You about to say something.
But if you've gotten to the point where you've been together for a moment,
Mhm.
and
Why
so
we ain't
to
married?
go back to what you said, I can deal with your house being a little junky. Can you
Mhm.
cook?
Mhm.
Do you snore? All that kind of stuff. But if you've been together with this person for a moment, hadn't you already spent nights together? So you would know, or spent days together. So you would know all of that.
I agree.
And so you would have a discussion on the side if you guys may be cohabitating
Mhm.
possibly or whatever. You'll know all that before that. So are you saying that, well, no, you said that if
Those aren't my reasons. I'm saying people who choose to do that. I'm saying
right.
those are their reasons.
Okay.
So
I
no,
mean, I don't agree. I don't agree with it, but I'm
right.
saying people make all these excuses. Well, I want to see this, I want to see that, and I get it, but you're wasting time. Either you want to marry this person or you don't. If you're
Right.
saying you have to justify your decision, like I gotta see this, you don't love them. If you love them, you ain't got to see all of that. If you love them, and you run out to the good and the bad, bitter and the sweet.
Right,
So
but by the cohabitation part, though, I just don't understand why someone, not saying you, someone would even think, oh, I'm a see if you snore or if you junk it, whatever. You've been with them for a minute, so why would
They
you
do.
even have that cohabitation conversation? If you've already spent nights with them or just spent days with them or whatever. But
To delay a decision. People will do
duh.
anything to delay a decision,
yeah.
a permanent decision. If I don't marry you, I'm not bound to you. So if I say, well, I want to see this, or I want to be here in my career, I'm delaying a decision and I'm avoiding accountability to you. Happens.
So what about if we that decision is already made? Like, or I should say made-ish, because you're engaged
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, okay, engaged, and maybe this is my spin on it. Sometimes when I say I'm engaged to somebody, we can be engaged and be engaged for a hot minute, because during that time, I think I'm still seeing. I've made a general decision that yes, if all things are like they are, I want to marry you on this day. But if I do see some things in between, that still could go left before we actually jump this broom.
Very
So,
true.
so what about those who say, well, for that reason, they're just like, okay, we're engaged. I really think, for the most part, yeah, I've been to your place. You've been to my place. You see, you see how I live. We have dozed off watching the movie. I know that you, like you said, I know you snore a
Mhm.
lot, but it's that, how we talk about when you're with somebody, usually after, just a general rule of 90 days, that facade starts coming down. So now I want to see, now that you're in your element, and
Mhm.
I like what I've seen so far, and
Right.
and everything within me feels like, yeah, you're my person, but I want to see, you see how you move day to day.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Is it different that if we're engaged already? Is that different? Mm,
I don't think it's different. I mean, to your point, Lena, if we've been together, I know how you move. If
Mhm.
I'm paying attention, I know how you move, right? I know how you respond to certain situations, right? I could tell myself that, well, I want to see, your day to day in your home. But to me, it's just another excuse because again, I just feel like if we really love each other and if I really love you, I'm the man, right? I'm the one that's asking you to marry me. I'm the one that asked you into this relationship. So I'll rewind for a second. Why did I even ask you into my life if I was going to keep pushing things off? If I never saw marriage in you before the relationship, why did I ask you to be in a relationship with me? And I think
mm,
that is people go wrong. Is that if you're gonna look for those things that hard, well, stay out of the relationship and
mm,
then date that person and look at those things then, right? I can see how you spend money just dating you. I can see how you live. I can see you can't hide certain things if you're paying attention. That's why I understand people over 40 years old talking about I got food in the seed. No, you didn't. You were paying attention. Because at the end of the day,
well, I don't know. I don't
well,
know. That this
not
is this
I won't
is
say with every it can be situational,
yeah.
but it better be something really drastic, because I found that people just we don't ask questions, and we're not serious about what we say that we want, right?
Yeah.
Because if we're serious, there are too many things that we accomplish in life that are very, very difficult for us to holler out and cry out that this person, this person that wasn't that intelligent deceived you, but you've accomplished all of this in your life. Ain't no
Mm,
way in the world. You allowed your heart to think for you, or an unchecked desire, I should say, to think
mm,
for you and not your brain. And now we want to say that that person deceived you. No, they didn't. You were
Mm.
not paying attention because
right.
we have our eyes wide shut sometimes, and then you want to holler, I got deceived. No, I just feel like at this stage in the game that we really have to approach some intentionality to this thing. And if you want something, then go get it. If you want to be with her, go get her, and don't make no excuses for pushing off engagement. We ain't getting no younger. I said on Facebook today, it don't take no man more than a year to figure out if he want to marry that woman. It doesn't.
Mm,
It
mm,
does not.
mm.
It does not take a man more than a year. It does not. And any man that tell you otherwise is lying. Is lying.
I
Now,
believe.
now, go ahead.
No, I believe that
Oh,
because
yeah.
I learned that late, though. I learned that late.
Yeah, they
Wow.
lying.
Okay, y'all, it's getting good already. Let's take a quick break, and come back because y'all know I got some more counter questions to go.
Come on,
So
push.
let's, I got to push. All right, let's take a quick 38-second break and come right on back. All right, we are back with the So Free and Single with Z podcast. And I'm here with Lena D and Dr. Gregory Devon. We're here talking about Love Shack. So we are talking about cohabiting before marriage. Oh my gosh. And we're getting deep in here. So again, if you have not subscribed to the Zeducation LLC YouTube, please go on there and do so right now. We're looking for you, but it's already hot in here. We got some comments in here. It says speaking. They in here talking about, wow. All right, y'all, because I mean this is getting good. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this some more. All right. Let's talk about this. All right. So we started talking about, and something you mentioned was that a man is not going to take a man, more than a year to know, within a year, they're lying if they don't know if they're going to marry you or not. Okay. That's we
I meant it. And I'm here to represent it.
Yes. I've heard even less time than that. I heard they know pretty much within 3 to 6 months, like if you're going to be that one, and it may take them a year or so before they, pop a question or something, but they know if you're even worthy of that in their life. So then, like you said, it does get to that point of, are we wasting time or not? Because if you and I cohabitate, and because we're trying to see some things, and then that time goes by with no intention or no commitment, I mean, what are we really doing? I think we do become, like you said, that hobosexual. What is this about? Because I definitely want to talk about this homosexuality.
That's funny.
Yes, like what are we talking about here? I got a comment here. It says, just a thought, in today's age in social media and technology, I feel that the chance of ending up with an individual's representative increases slightly significantly if you don't cohabitate. So what do y'all think about that? That you think if you don't cohabitate, that you're going to get a representative?
But in the age of today's technology, meet the online dating and everything like that? Is that what they mean?
I don't know. I'm gonna assume it might mean something like that. Let's go with that.
Because how long are you dating online? You ain't meeting the person in person, face to face, one on one, in first person. No, we're not doing that. If I meet you online, I know that that's how a lot of people meet individuals are online nowadays, but We ain't taking no 3, 6, 7, 8 months to meet each other and actually date each other in person. No, we're not doing that. That's why
Right.
for me personally, I can't do a long distance relationship.
Okay.
Online dating, we gonna take maybe 30 days before we even have to, pull that trigger and see each other and start dating each other in person. Cause I can't do that. Cause I gotta be
Mhm.
able to feel your energy and everything like that. So, no. So, I mean, I really would like to know what they mean. You're meeting that person's representative because of the age of online dating. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, everybody's going to meet that person's representative, when
Mhm.
they first meet them on most occasions with some people,
Yeah.
but then they gonna code switch and be who they are, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, no, that's why we can't do the long distance. Well, I can't. Let me let me say that I can't do the long distance or the online dating for so many months because I'm
Mhm.
gonna get bored with you and I'm
Ooh.
Mhm.
gonna slide on.
Say that, LD.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. And I personally don't subscribe to that particular thing. I don't. Because
Yes.
all of us, self included, are something different in different environments,
Yeah.
right? On the show today, I am Dr. Gregory Devine.
Yeah.
Tomorrow in corporate America, I'm gonna be supervisor.
Okay.
Sunday morning, I'm gonna be Pastor G. To my friends, I'm just plain OG. Right? So I'm still me, but I'm a
Right.
different part of who I am in
Yeah.
all of those circles. And it's pretty much at the core the same person, but there are some differences. Because some of them will say what the other won't. That's why you might want to just
Mhm.
know that one. Because you might not can handle all four of them. And that's just real with me.
Listen.
And I tell people I'm not the exact same in every setting. I'm just not. Because again, in some certain setting, I have to be more of this than here, less of this here. So I'll say this on going out on a first date, second date, third date, you might as well expect that nobody's being fake and pretentious. That is actually who they are in a dating session.
Okay.
Even people who, I think we talked about love bombing one time, Z.
Hmm.
Even people who do that, that's actually who they are
Yeah.
in that setting, in that time frame. They just have not learned how to consistently be that across the board. So
Mm.
they're not actually being fake or phony, because guess what? The next person gets the same thing. This
Mm.
person just has not understood that relationships require consistency of character, right? And to be all honest, there are certain things that actually are transactional in dating and relationship and marriages. The only reason a man, whether you're a husband or not, buy you the flowers and the teddy bear, he
Mhm.
wants some affection.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
If you
Yeah.
think I'm lying,
I
you better
believe
think
that.
again.
I
He
believe
wants some affection. Okay.
that.
So at the end of the day, we have to just study the moment, study the person, right? And we have to stop making excuses about why I have to do this. No, you're not going to be deceived. If it were true that living together solved anything, then
Mm.
again, why are again they have a higher divorce rate, and most of those couples don't get married.
Mm.
Mm.
Ask yourself again, why is that?
I know because that is huge. Like I've been in both scenarios, and I was like, "Dang, I'm over two." So now my thoughts on it before were like, oh, man, maybe this is okay. I would say growing up, because again, I
Mhm,
grew up under the pew at church, so it was
mhm,
an absolute no. Like, but it was a no because they said so.
mhm,
So I definitely said okay, no because they said so. But then as I got older, I started to think, well, maybe it's not a bad idea, because if you wake up making that pig throat noise, and I think I posted about that recently,
Yeah.
we don't go together no more.
Yeah.
Because
What?
I can't, like, you can't do all that.
You try
In the morning, we don't go together no more. So I thought, okay, well, maybe this it actually has its benefits. I can see, and then I could go ahead and dart off if it doesn't work. But then that, like you said, it resulted back in a lot of wasted time. And I'm not saying that again. Shout out to, you know, my exes that, you know, whatever, we all cool, but yeah, but it was
so Z,
wasted time.
can I go to the book though? This
Yes.
time I asked him to go to the book this time.
Okay, all right, go to the book.
First Peter 4:8.
Mhm.
Love covers a multitude of sin. Let's
Mhm.
make that practical. When you really love somebody, you will overlook a lot of things that actually irritate you because you love that person, and you realize, you know what, that's really annoying. But I love this person so much because something about their presence feeds something within me, almost to a point where you like, you know what, I really almost need that person in my life to feed this part of me, and I'm really better with them than I am apart. That's what true love looks like. So that will make you overlook those what idiosyncrasies that they may have that rub you the wrong way, that you might even said yesterday was a what? Deal breaker.
Yeah. Well,
Love makes you reconcile even on important things, that it's like this person has really done something, not cheated, but really angered you, maybe disrespected you, right? Love makes you examine how to reconcile, the need to reconcile. Love makes you not just walk away when it's real, right? Because the fabric of love is thick when it's real. It's not a house with no foundation. And I feel like when we cohabitate, it's like moving into a house that's not on a secure foundation. Oh no. It's like moving into a house that you never signed the deed to. At any moment can be taken away because it ain't yours.
Yeah.
But you said something about, love will make you, accept all those different idiosyncrasies or whatever, right? But I think that but is it love on both sides? Or is it just love on that one side? That one person may love that person so much that they'll put up with all these different things, right? But the person that's doing those different things, do they have that unconditional love for you? Or are they just there doing what they do?
That's real.
It is.
That's a real question. Let me tell you why I say it's a real question. And I'm just going, because I'm crazy. I say whatever I'm going to say. Anyways, who's going to check me? So, so for instance, I'm going to go back to that little noise, right? Like you said, love can, overcompensate for a lot of different things. And I will say in the beginning, some things we don't even notice because we are in love. It's usually until somebody make you mad, and then you start noticing, like, man, when did you start doing that? They've been doing that. But but I think about stuff like that, right? Like, I made the sacrifice, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna find a way to cope and get around that. But I've expressed to you that that's an issue, and you don't even try. So, for instance, I'll say, okay, you make that you do all of that. When you're talking, you wasn't doing that when you were hitting. So you can't control it. Oh, you can control it.
What are the fans?
So I'm just saying, but I have a bigger reverence for you to say, okay, I'm gonna try to deal with that at least. But you don't have a reverence for me to say, let me see what I can do about that. Do I need to get some nasal spray? Do I need to get some medicine? Go get it's a medical issue. What do I need to do? But so yeah, I got a whole issue with that because you wasn't making that noise when you was hitting. I just
Yeah.
want to say,
Mm, mm, mm.
you
And
know, so
So
yeah.
you
I'm
raised a good
curious,
question.
Z. I'm curious, Z. You say you over to right?
Mhm.
Do you think that you'll be a whole lot more hesitant, or is it just a no go for you on your next relationship?
I think the jury is still out on that, honestly, but I think I'm definitely leaning more towards, there is some validity in going the biblical way about this because the other way ain't work. And like you said, I know people who it has worked for, but
Mhm.
I will say it's a smaller percentage, if I'm honest. The smaller percentage that is actually worked for. So for me, maybe in the future we need to at least okay, I will say this. One thing that I did say is you at least got to have the commitment of an engagement at the very least for me now
Mhm.
before we even talk about cohabitating.
Mhm.
Hopefully we can make it so that it makes sense, if we're talking about lease things and things like that. But outside of that, yeah, you gonna have to show me something. Yeah, we're not doing this anymore. I'm moving in with my boyfriend and girlfriend, and
Mhm.
then now we didn't, because I have seen it all. Like and I think I'm safe to say this in transparency. Like I built a whole house with someone who I no longer with anymore.
Mhm.
And so you've invested a lot of your time, your heart, and regardless of who's, because I had a very large fault in that relationship, not being together anymore. But regardless, that's time. That's years that went by. That's years, money, heart, all that stuff invested. So yeah, you got to have something on my finger before we even consider that. Oh, but I want to hop to the chat because there's some interesting things happening on
Cool.
in this chat. All right.
What's happening?
So one of the questions that came up, and I know this is when you were talking, Dr. Gregory here. Who do you feel goes the farthest to misrepresent themselves, men or women? I'm curious what y'all think about that.
I think that men lie more with their mouth,
Mm.
and women lie more with their appearance and
Oh,
their aesthetic.
oh,
And because at the end of the day, women will sometimes marry what they hear. A
Mm.
man marry what he see,
um,
meaning that men oftentimes get caught up in the woman's aesthetic. Women get caught up in a man's verbiage, his words, right?
mm,
When I'm not going to say that they don't all have their place, because they do, right?
mm-hmm,
I think, like, take women for example. You got the BBLs,
mm,
you got the got to be glue
uh-huh,
for the wig, the
uh-huh,
lace front, the weave. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. Better be
right,
clear. You
mm-hmm.
got push-up bras. You could have no breasts at all, but come on this date, you got C cup, D cup, but you got a man chest. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have allowed what you can buy to enhance things that you really don't have. Now I can make the argument, ladies, that is deceitful, right? You got
Uh-huh,
what they call it the spanks, right? Suck it in, keep it tight.
mm-hmm.
Now I understand that even women who size 6 wear spanks too.
They
So
do.
yeah,
Baby.
so it's like, but for men can be the lion king, right?
Mm,
Because a man knows how to increase his resume with words that don't accurately depict what he does or who he is. Let me give you an example. What you do for a living? Oh yeah, computer science. You work at a call center, okay? And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. But what I'm saying is you enhanced your resume and didn't say exactly what you did. So you that could be again a lie or be deceitful, right? You got me, men who will lie about the money that they have or that they make, and they will talk about having all of these accomplishments till you fact check them, right? They will talk about this and the third, and none of this stuff is really true, but it sounds good. They'll talk about how yeah, I buy the flowers and candy. I'm real romantic. People who are acting romantic don't talk about it. They just do, and you can tell by a first date. Romantic men don't ask you where you want to go. They ask you, "Can you be ready at 7?"
Yes, come on, you better preach that.
I'm trying to tell you. So it's like, again, when that's why I said, if you are intentional about what you desire, what you listen, people will tell you all about who they are. Listen, is there a conversation? Is it consistent? Ask the same question on date 5 as you asked them on day 4, and see if the answer changed. Right? See if they're honest about their schedule. Right. Call him at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Does he really live by himself, or do he live with his mom? Okay. Come on, don't. Oh no, my mama live with me. No, she don't. You live with her. That's mama house, and you never moved out. My point is, it's easy to lie when you haven't fact checked, or I'm getting to know you, right? But again, and men, I'll say this for us. It is not just that we should be the ones that are spending some money after we pass date number 5. I'm gonna tell you, if a woman ain't asked you, well, can I pay the tip? And y'all been out about 5 times, that is not a generous woman. It's not. She's not somebody who will ever really pour into you, because she's looking to see what she can get, right? And I'm a big part of men, us being generous men. Doesn't mean that you spend all of your money on her, but it does mean that you pour yourself out, which includes your money, right? If you start to really like her, then show her that you will invest your time into her, your energy into her, your attention into her. Pour your tea out. You know what I'm saying? And it's a two-way street, but I do believe that men have the what they call the burden of proof in the very, very beginning. But to answer that question directly, I think they were equal on that. We just lie. We lie in different ways. Men lie with this, women lie with this.
Ooh, come on, Lena. She got something to say. Go ahead.
I mean, it's real quick, because I know that Dr. G said women fall in love with men because of their words. Grown women don't fall in love with men because of their words. Grown women fall in love with men because of their actions. So, and I say the same thing for men. They'll fall in love with a woman for her actions as well, but yeah, they fall in love or they lust, because we had that conversation before. They lust off of what they see, because and it's really a two-way street. Women are going to see a man and be attracted to him, and say, okay, yeah, he might can get that, but at the same time, we both are going to, if we're grown and looking to actually, settle down with someone and not be out there in them dirty streets, we're going to fall in love or just watch how each other move. And I agree with what you said about if by the 5th date you're saying, if a woman isn't saying, hey, can I get the tip, or can I pay for this? Yeah, I feel as if she's out to get what she wants, because I know that for me, if I ask whoever I'm with, do they want to do something?
Then I'm paying for it.
I'm paying for it.
Right? I'm not a girl.
Yeah.
I'm paying for it. So,
all right.
Yeah. Funny, Dr. G.
Yeah, if I asked you out, I shouldn't be counting your coins for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
but
know,
but all
I'm
of
not
this,
here for a pimp.
listen. But I mean, all of this that we're saying right now about, you know, that representative and that initial attraction and falling for what they say with their mouth and falling for what they look like. To me, this almost goes back to, well, maybe we do need to cohabitate, because I don't know. Is it, are you really about what you're talking about? Do you really, what you look like when you for real wake up? Like, because I mean, I don't think I'm horrible, but I don't look like this. But I mean, I'm not unbearable, I don't think, and I hope don't nobody come on here and try to say otherwise. But like, I mean, because I mean, we all have our things, like, I don't sleep with no bonnet. I don't believe in a bonnet. I just, because I don't want to wake, I don't want to go to sleep. But you
Yeah.
might want to know that. I don't know that makes you tick. You already know that I,
Yeah.
put on the whole armor of God before I lay down. But so so I mean, I don't know. That almost pushes the point the other way to me. Like, okay, I've gotten to know you, I've dated you, I've been with you, I've
Mm-hmm.
fallen for who you are,
Mm-hmm.
but is this really, really you on those other hours?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, that it's the scary part sometimes, because I don't think it's a lack of love why people do that. They're just trying to put their best foot forward. Everybody wants to be liked and loved, and I
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't say everybody. I shouldn't say everybody's just putting their best forward, because there are some people out here just trying to scam. I'm just there's a lot of those, but
Mm-hmm.
I think about when I go out with someone and I comb my hair, slap on, a little light makeup, lip gloss,
Mm-hmm.
put on a cute outfit. That's how Xandra's going to do regardless when I'm going out the house. And definitely if I'm meeting somebody, I want you to see, yeah, Xandra can fix up some, but you're right. I don't wake up with a full face of makeup, and my hair sometimes be right across here. And the
But,
outfit.
but but we know that.
Oh,
I
Right.
mean, we know this about anybody. I mean, even with men, you know, like I mean, even with the whole hair thing, like my hair is probably a little bit longer than the average man. Can't tell in this video, but I got curly hair. So at
mhm.
the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I wake up, I might have the little helmet thing going on. I got to put some moisturizer on now.
Some
You know
berries.
what I'm saying? Just berries, put some beard oil on, put some lotion on, this and the third. So I think that's certain things that we know out of common sense. Even if it's a woman, I know if that's your hair or not for the most part. Right. I know if you got a bunch of makeup on, but that's why I don't date women that wear a bunch of makeup. I don't. I actually like women who are more on the natural end.
Yeah.
Like I think that natural hair is beautiful. I really do. You know, so my thing is, it goes back for me to the whole love thing. I don't feel like waiting to live together is withholding love. It's protecting love in my book,
Mm.
because I think that love, we have kind of dehumanized it, or because we don't view it as sacred anymore. Because if we did, then I would kind of want to make sure that me and this person both love each other. Like Lana asked earlier, I forgot to answer it. I apologize. When she said that, what if the love is one sided? Does that person love you the same way? For me, part of my loving a woman is going to be because of what she does for me. And I'm not talking about what she does financially or physically.
Right.
I mean what her presence does for me. Her being in my life like makes me a better man, and I can explain to you why.
Mm.
Right? I believe that while a woman determines her own worth, I determine her value to me, right?
Mhm.
And I believe that as a result of her living out her worth. I'm then able to see how valuable that she is to me based upon the needs that I have that she fulfills by being who she is. If I'm in that kind of situation, I believe that love has no choice but to be honest and genuine because I'm not basing it on anything that's superficial or vain. It's now really based upon the soul that you are. Just being who you are works for me. Your skill set works for me, right? Your even your strengths speak to my weaknesses. You're the yin to my yang naturally, without me having to tell you anything. You naturally do that. That's what creates the whole thing in me loving you, right? While love is a choice, love has to be based also on something. Something caused me to realize, man, I love this woman. I need to know that before I ask you to live with me, to avoid us not just wasting time, but to avoid even like spiritual warfare, right? Because if we're in this thing and we don't need to even be together, but we're saying, I want to test and see my spirit gonna conflict with yours. It's not about us not being both saved. No, it's about we want to be at war with one another because we ain't figured out if we're even suitable yet. Not just compatible, but I'll be going in the same direction. If we're suitable, because Eve was suitable for Adam. And when you're suitable, then that means the suitability speaks more to direction. Compatibility speaks to right now. So that's why right now could change. That's why compatibility ain't enough. I might be compatible with somebody because we both hurt. We bond in trauma. Now one of us is healed. We ain't compatible no more. So we show like suitable. So now we wasted time. And a lot of folk have started to cohabitate and they both were hurt. And they was each other's tissue for your issue. That they've wasted 6 months only to realize I really don't love you like that. And now I am annoyed. Because why? We're not just combining lives, we combine finances.
Yes.
One of us got children. Or
Yep.
maybe we have created a child that's on the way. So now I've had a broken home now. Because I don't want to be with you anymore. But you got this seed inside of you that we're not getting rid of. So now I have brought a child to the world in a broken home. And now I am setting him up. And it was a child of color. You're already behind the 8 ball. Now you further behind it. Because you ain't got mama and daddy in the home with you no more. And I'm not saying that single parents can't raise you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's harder and things are stacked against you.
Wow. No, that's real. All of that I think is real. Like we do set ourselves up for some situations that we don't think further ahead on. Like you said, when it doesn't work out, look at all the things that it could impact. And like I said, I'm a witness. It impacts quite a bit. Now, you went from a 2 income household to single. What does that look like now? And like you said, if there's children involved, if this doesn't work, at least under a covenant with someone, you have the security of knowing that there's something there, there's some glue there. And not to say it's 100% that that's going to work either, but at least I have a little bit more glue. I'm not holding it together with dollar store tape, hoping that it sticks. It's stuck. Now we gonna have to make it continue to stick, and that's a whole different ball game than hoping that it sticks. So wow, good stuff tonight, y'all. Good discussion, good conversation. I want to say on our way out, what is your last advice to folks who are thinking about cohabitating before marriage? What are your last and final words for them? What you got for us?
I say make a plan. Make a plan to If you're in a relationship with someone and you find yourself falling in love with one another, and you may be thinking about walking down that aisle, make a plan. Make a plan on what that's going to look like for you guys within the next 6 months or whatever your plan is. Just make a plan.
Mm.
Um, on how you're going to get to that point and how it's going to be successful, because there's so many marriages that have you know gone into the point where they cohabitated before, and then they got married, but they didn't have a true plan, and but they that one person might have just said, okay, yeah, we're going to get married, but they had an ulterior motive or whatever, the homosexual.
Yeah.
And but just make a plan. Make a plan, because I can't say that I won't put myself in that situation. I haven't been in that situation where I'm just dating someone and I fell in love with them and they fell in love with me and we wind up just combining households and everything. I haven't been in that situation. But if I do wind up being in that situation, I know that I will have a plan, because that's just me. Have a plan.
I like it. I like it. Dr. Gregory?
So I know y'all used to me going to the book of R&B, but I'm going back to the book of life.
Okay.
You know, Matthew was 17:20. It says, if you got faith the size of a mustard seed, you can say to the mountain, be thou removed. I think that's a misinterpreted scripture because we think it's saying to have small faith, but it's really saying have mustard seed kind of faith.
Yes.
Small, but a mustard seed will grow deep roots to the
Mm, mm,
ground. So, in regard to relationships and dating, what I'm saying is the same way you got to plant a seed at the right time, or that seed will not grow properly. Sometimes we could do things out of order that could have worked, but because you did it out of order, it
Mm.
didn't work, or it didn't
mm,
go according to plan because you plant that seed at it's the right kind of seed, but you planted in the wrong grows flowers knows you can't plant a seed in the wrong season and expect it to grow correctly. And a lot of times that's what happens with people is that not only are you planting in the wrong soil, but sometimes it's just the wrong season, right? I
Mm.
think we
mm,
learn to get that right. And when we learn how to focus more so on friendship and spiritual intimacy, it will avoid us making these horrible mistakes. And I'll say this, shacking is not a sin. Ain't no sin called shacking.
Right.
The sin is what's going to come as a result
Ugh.
of you
mm,
living together.
mm,
Tell the
mm,
people. Help
I
the
don't care
people.
how
mm,
saved you are.
mm,
I don't care if it's you, me, or anybody. When your attraction to that person and they come out the shower,
Ha.
Lord have mercy.
Hey.
And you realize that they fearfully and wonderfully made. Hello, come on, in the image of God. Boy, you can't. You're gonna have to go to the other book now.
Uh,
The book of In Vogue. You want to give them something you can feel. Know that love is real.
oh my
But
God.
but then another negative, Z and Lana, is that now I gotta deal with guilt,
Mm-hmm.
shame. Then you're gonna be at the altar on Sunday morning singing like Dynamite. We fall down, but we get up. And you can get up, but why not take the sin?
Why not just keep
And
standing?
the Bible says avoid the appearance of evil.
mm,
So don't set yourself up for failure because you're gonna fail. Do things in right order and know that when you stand on business, that's a universal law. When you stand on business
Mm.
in the corporate arena and in the spiritual arena, stand on your morals, stand on the word, and don't be afraid to honor what you said that you believe. God will help you with those desires, and then God will show you what is for you. Because again, don't fall for this. I'm saying this last thing. Don't fall for this. Don't replace scripture with a song. Ain't no scripture that says what God has for you is for you. That's a song. Ain't the word. Because sometimes what God has for you will be what God intended for you. But you screwed it up because you got out of the will of God. And it's even true in the Bible. There are a lot. Look at Samson. Samson never fulfilled his actual calling because he had a problem with lust, his eyes. And he allowed, and it wasn't just Delilah, it was right before her. He had a problem that he never got control of. You know, I mean, I think him and Delilah was probably cohabitating. She was lulling him to sleep. You sleep in the house. You understand? You laying your head on her lap. And don't be that. I'm saying, listen, I got a divine download. Listen, you better be careful who you let lull you to sleep. Because people can have a good method and a bad motive. And the doors of the church are open.
The doors of the church are open. Love it. Man, I want to thank y'all so much tonight, man. This was rich. Thank y'all. Thank everyone who joined in the comments. And y'all were, I see that pillow talking, right? Thank y'all so much. This was a great topic. And I hope that you all can join us again for the So Free and Single with Z podcast. We love it when y'all hop in. We love it in the comments. We love when y'all push back on the narrative. We love it. But thank y'all again, and I hope y'all have an amazing night.